Okay, good morning and welcome back to Upload TV. Thanks for joining the average golfer up here at Clark's Golf Centre. It's Monday morning. We're going to carry on with this G400 range because I only did the driver last week, a little bit behind some of the others YouTubers that are out there, but megally impressed with the G400 driver. I'm going to do a bit more testing on that one as the day progresses. But this one's a little bit unplanned, if you like, what I'm about to do next. It's a few warm-up balls and picked up the G400 crossover, which is what I have in my hands now, and that's what we're going to review because I was a little bit again taken aback by the performance of this thing, and that's only in the practice balls. We've got some real balls to hit and I'm about to do that very, very shortly, but once again I got this immediate impression of how sort of easy this is to hit, how stable the ball flight, how consistent the ball flight was. And again, what I'm going to do, as we started doing of late, let me throw up the tech spec that Ping offer, have a little read through, maybe hit the pause button for a second or two, and then we'll come back and pick up some of the key points that I can pick from it. Okay, so if you have had a little bit of a read through there, I think there's some interesting statements again from Ping, and been very bold in what they've said about this G400 range. A forward CG placement helps generate 40% more spin and 45% less shot bend to ensure straight, stable trajectories. Well, stable, straight and spin, that all sounds good to me, especially from this style of club. Again, they've talk about the sole unit being thinner and more like a hybrid style sole unit on it, but this is all about, and again there's some tungsten weighting again, resulting in 17% tighter dispersion. They're all quotes that really do interest me. They certainly would interest, I would think, the average golfer. So what I'm going to do, as ever, let's move this camera, let's get hitting some balls and see if the claims that Ping are making ring true when I start to hit a few balls out there. We'll soon see. Okay, so as ever, let's start off with talking about some aesthetics before we start hitting this golf ball. Now, they've got this, was it Hydra Pearl, did they call it? I can't remember now from the information from Ping, but it's basically, the way I would describe it is a matte satin finish. It's the same as what's in the G400 irons, which I was particularly fond of. Really like the finish, and I really like the finish on the crossover as well. I'm going to start off with some negatives in my eyes. The club looks, it's got a very thick top line. It does look quite chunky. This is what you'd call, I don't know, is it utility iron, driving iron? I don't know what you describe this as. And what I'm using here, by the way, is the 4. It's 22 degrees worth of loft. I've got the Ultra CB regular shaft in this one at the moment. But yeah, just going back to the size of the head, it's a little bit big for my liking. Again, I compare it to my, I'm a user of this golf type of club in my Strixon driving iron. But it just looks that little bit more cumbersome, if you like, at address, and like I said, that is a negative start. This Ultra CB shaft as well, which we spoke about, this is in, I tried this in the driver head being black. There's a copper coloured shaft when you look at it, if I'm looking at it from above right now. When I lay it behind the golf ball, we talked about it in the G400 driver review, the shaft appears to be black and it blends into the colour of the club head on the driver. Now it does a complete opposite for me on this, and again, unfortunately, it's a bit of a negative because what it seems to do, it just seems to accentuate the size of the head on this silver chrome head. So you've got this black shaft now into a very light chrome finished head, and I think that does the opposite. I think it makes it actually look bigger. Now it may be that it's confidence inspiring, maybe people will like to see that bigger head, but for me it's a slight negative if I'm being perfectly honest. But other than that, very, very similar. I liked, interestingly enough, last year's black finish or dark grey, whatever it was, on last year's crossover. But from what I hear, again, there's plenty of positive comments about this Hydra Pearl finish, but I think I prefer to see it with a chrome shaft in, to be quite honest with you, and it maybe wouldn't look quite as bulbous on the head. Anyway, enough of that, let's get into some golf balls. I've got to say, I've hit some practice balls, and yet again, quite surprised at what Ping are doing with this G400 range. Right, nice and easy, does it? Maybe a little bit too easy on that one, was it? Let's have a look. Okay, not the greatest of starts. 189 carry. There's a spin on it. Spin at 3.5. Let's hit a few more. A little bit quicker, a little bit more positive with the stroke this time, and the swing rather. I got a little bit of mat with that. Wasn't the best of strikes. This is the bit that amazes me. Not the purest of strikes. Gets out there at only 200 yards, which is incredible. Try another one. That's a ball. That's a ball. Yeah, so again, 200 carry, 219, 3.6 spin. All good numbers that you'd expect. I mean, again, the one thing I would say about this, straight away and found out from the, like I said, when I was having a bit of a warm-up here this morning, is this Ping G400 range. The thing I will always give credit to a manufacturer doing is there's some bold claims, and I think the Ping G400 range has backed it up so far. These are incredibly easy to hit golf clubs, easy to get airborne, and they seem incredibly stable in terms of dispersion, both left and right, and the distances that they carry. Right, let's try another one. That's a big one. That's big. .206 carry, 228 overall. Spin down to that 3,000. It's, I mean, for me, if I'm hitting a 4 hybrid or a 4 utility driving iron, for me, in the main, it's a club that I'd look to use on a tight par 4. I'd be interested to try this kind of like fairway rough, just off the fairway, and also picking off a very tight lie. We're not teed up. I'm not straight off the tight mat here, but it'd be interesting to see how versatile it is in out there on the course conditions, and I'd like to do more of that kind of testing. But like I said, in terms of spin, for me, this is either going into a tight par 4 from the tee, or maybe you're looking at a long par 3, but there's not many par 3s I play that are tucked in around the sort of 220 mark. So again, for me, it's more of a club that I would play off the tee on a tight par 4 when you're looking to find the fairway. Again, nice shot. Nothing wrong with that. You pulled a little down the left hand side. 201 carry, and again it runs out to 224. Spin low on that one, again at 2,500. So maybe you'd have a bit of issues, some people, but I don't think you're really considering spin to be an issue with this sort of club. I'm looking to, like, keep repeating actually, to find fairways with it off the tee where spin is not such a big issue. Summary. Very quick video, this one. For me, again, very, very easy to hit golf club. If you're looking for something from the tee to it, like I said, and I'm saying it one more time, those tight fairways on a par 4, this is absolutely superb for me. It's a kind of club I like to use. It'll become kind of one of your go-to clubs when you don't fancy driver or 3-wood. Absolutely superb. Issue for me perhaps on this one would be the way in which the club head looks. It's just a bit too bulbous, but like I said, from the performance I've just seen, I'm sure I could soon get over that one. Anyway, we're going to carry on with this G400 range as ever. If you enjoyed the video, click the thumbs up, subscribe if you don't already, and thanks to everybody that watches. I'll see you very, very soon on Untitled TV.